Hello, Benevolent History here, and I'm giving you a commentary battle on Napoleon Total War for once. I have the game. I do have a relatively decent computer to run it, the good computer, the new one, and you'll notice that it's surprisingly it's in French because I told Steam to basically put it in French because I feel like if I immerse myself with more French, I'll be better at the language. Because I want to learn French one day eventually. Anyway, I'm playing on the map of the pyramids, and I'm playing as a Spanish. I don't know this game very much, so don't expect any awesome moves by me. I'm playing as a Spanish against my opponent, who's playing as the French, which is pretty cool since my game is essentially in French. But right now my plan is essentially to make two bodies of troops, one on my left and one on my right. The left one will be basically as somewhat of a distraction. My right one will actively flank my opponent and try to bring down his flank with combined assaults of my artillery, my Walloon Guards, and my Fusiliers, and also my 3 units of light infantry. Essentially, I position my troops effectively and group my troops, and I'm ready for this battle to go. Anyway, since I'm not very experienced at this game, I make a few dumb moves in my opinion. Hopefully no Napoleon Total War experts will come in and say that I'm doing horribly. I think I'm okay at the game, but definitely my game is Rome Total War because I have more experience playing it. And since Napoleon Total War, it's not I just don't find that Napoleon Total War flows as well as Rome Total War does. But anyway, Napoleon Total War seems like a good game, very good graphics. Anyway, I don't know my opponent's name. You'll probably see my opponent's name at the end of the game. Anyway, he has a few chasseurs, Fusiliers of the line. He has a few Vieille Guard, the Old Guard, and I believe he has some Grenadiers as well. Since this game is in French, you'll see that it's going to be kind of difficult for you to read the units. But basically, he has a few Old Guard, the Vieille Guard, and the Fusiliers of the line, and whatnot. He also has dragoons, the Dragon, and he has some chasseurs à cheval, I believe. Actually, I think he has no, he doesn't have chasseurs à cheval. He has lancers instead. And you can see I move my horse artillery to the hill, and he's sending his cavalry up against my troops, relatively isolated, so to speak. I don't think it's a good move by him, because if you're going to attack an opponent, like that, it's really best to support your move with infantry. Also, I think he should do his best to actually try and get on this hill that I'm taking over. I mean, basically, I think if you for pyramids map, I think you should try your best to take over the hill. Because if you take over the hill, obviously the hill gives you an advantage. So his cav is getting some dangerously close against my ranged troops, my light infantry, and my Walloon Guards and my Fusiliers. So I tell my troops to stop, and I rain death upon his cavalry units. See his dragoons and his I believe that's Chevalier Lancers, yeah, Chevalier Lancers. Let's see. Now I'm just gonna send my troops out and make 2 huge bodies and outflank him on 2 different flanks. Actually, while I send my lanceros out to try and catch but his dragoons and his Chevalier Lancers are able to escape. However, I do kill them with my lanceros later on. That's a good thing. So right now, I ungroup my men because my men are relatively out of formation. Well, there's not much to talk about here, except I'm just moving my troops in. I'm probably gonna, yeah, I position my horse artillery on the hill while I send my infantry in front of my horse artillery on the bottom of the hill, so that my horse artillery will be able to fire over my men. So avoid friendly fire, take advantage of the hill, and like that I'm able to position my horse artillery safely behind my troops. Anyway, I forgot to mention that my opponent has 2 units of artillery as well. I believe he has a 6-pounder howitzer, something like that, and a 9-pounder actually I think he has a artillery à pied of the foot artillery of France. I'm just gonna send my troops up.
Monsieur, notre général essuie une attaque.
Yeah, it's cool that even when you put it in French, even the advisor talks in French. And since French is kind of like an awesome language, that's pretty cool. Though it's kind of awkward since being that I'm Spain and I have a French advisor. Oh well, all's fair. So right now his artillery pieces are focusing fire on my own, so I've quickly turned my artillery pieces into I quickly unlimber my artillery pieces and try and fire at his. However, I must say that I believe I micromanage a bit with my body on my left flank, because I probably should have moved it way more closer than what it is now. However, see, I'm using my artillery pieces. I'm targeting his artillery. I'm sending up my light infantry to target his own light infantry, his chasseurs and voltigeurs, and his vieille garde, his old guard. If my troops are in range. Basically, I'm kind of scared of his old guard, because the old guards are very powerful units. It doesn't help that France is already one of the most powerful faction in the game, essentially. So right now he's turning his troops to face mine. At the same time, I'm sending my light infantry to flank his, and right now he should probably retreat his light infantry, because he should probably notice that my light infantry on my left flank is engaging his, and I flank him and I send out devastating volleys with my own light infantry. I'm sending in my light infantry as well in order to see if I could get any fire out. And you may also notice that I put my light infantry out of skirmish, out of the light infantry doctrine, because for some weird reason the light infantry get tired very easily in light infantry doctrine. So I suggest that you put your light infantry first in standard formation. When you need to, switch the light infantry back into skirmish doctrine when you need to. Anyway, right now, my opponent, you can see here, is not countering very well. Is not doing a good counter against my flanking maneuver. What he should probably do is extend his troops out as far as possible in order to prevent outflanking. There's a little lag spike, but yeah, you can see there's a little lag, but it's alright. You can see right now he's sending his cavalry out to engage mine. Well, I send one of my Walloon Guards to turn in the direction in hopes of getting any volley fire out at his cav, but I don't get any. However, I'm able to position my cav effectively to outflank his. You can see one lancer is coming in and the other lancer is coming in from the other direction. So it essentially squishes cav on my right flank, and my troops are slowly advancing forward. See, lancers charge from both directions, and I easily rout his troops. I easily rout his lancers on that flank. I'm not sure if I'm in the best position, because on the pyramids map there are lots of dunes and lots of mini hills that prevent effective volley fire, because your troops will be shooting the ground instead of shooting the enemy. You can see here that you can see on my left flank the dune is essentially blocking his troops from being attack. That's why I switched my dudes off of fire at will, because I know that my troops will not be able to hit his. So there's no point in wasting volley ammunition. There's no point in wasting ammunition just firing at a hill, because the hill's not my enemy. I want to shoot my enemy, not the hill. Now I'm positioning my lancers in order to do a future lancer charge against his troops, because I have the cavalry superiority on this side. At the same time, he's shooting canister fire at me, which is rather strange because his troops, my troops are out of range essentially from his. And I switched my troops on fire will on that side because I think I could shoot at least some of his troops. Although I probably should have maneuvered that flank a bit more to the left in order to surround him a bit more. Oh well, it doesn't matter now. It's too late now to change anything about it. See here that I'm easily surrounding his troops. You know, he should really get out of the flank, because if you get flanked like this, you should do your best to get out of there. Just get out of there. It doesn't matter if you take losses running away. It's best to just get out of there, and then afterwards position your troops against the enemy and resume firing. Because it's best for him to do that, because as France, he has better line infantry than I do. So you should really take advantage of that and retreat his dudes, because he has better firing capabilities than my troops. And right now I'm doing a lancer charge. The lancer charge here was pretty unsuccessful because his troops were able to get volleys off on my lancers, and sadly my lancers just get pwned badly. So you can see I moved the light infantry way up because I realized I'm not hitting his troops as much. So, however, he does a melee charge on my light infantry. He does a melee charge on my light infantry, so the light infantry get hurt pretty badly. Anyway, not much to talk about, just my troops firing at his troops. Just continuous firing and continuous positioning of my troops in order to take advantage of position, in order to get good positioning on my opponent. Now, at this point of the battle, you can see my lancers on my right flank just died. They didn't achieve much, which is very bad. I really did a horrible job in taking advantage of my cavalry superiority on my right flank. And my artillery, I focused my artillery somewhat on his general, and I think I got a lucky shot off on his general, which is good. And his troops are right now, because his general is dead, his troops are relatively demoralized. And essentially now, I think now I'm probably gonna win, because his troops are obviously outflanked, and there's really not a lot of places for him to retreat to. He could retreat backwards, but I'm gonna push up with my dudes because I have the superiority. And anyway, on my left flank, I do a relatively decent lancer charge with my left flank lancers. You can see here, I sent one of my lancers to attack his artillery, because in this game, artillery is a very good target to attack. And I send my lancers in. I try and do as much disruption as possible against his troops. And essentially, I'm gonna win this battle, because you can see I basically surrounded my opponent. My opponent didn't do as good of a job in preventing outflanking. Oui, that's very good work. Very good work by my. Anyway, my opponent did not exactly he do a good job preventing outflanking. My opponent should have extended his lines a lot more, because in this game, your best bet is to extend your lines as far as possible to take up as much of the map as possible. That way you basically prevent outflanking from your opponent. So, it's the end of the battle. I basically won this battle. Good game to my opponent. And you can see, victoire de justesse. I think that's clear victory or something like that. Well, good game to my opponent.